Membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis is a progressive immune-mediated disorder related to some autoimmune disorders. For example, systemic lupus erythematosus, sjogren syndrome, which is associated with dry eye and dry mouth, rheumatoid arthritis due to immune complex formed due to binding of IgM anti-IgG, and scleroderma, and related to uncontrolled complement component number 3, and also it is related to celiac disease, as patients with celiac disease, they upregulate IgA anti-gliadin, IgA anti-endomysial, and IgA anti-tissue transglutaminase. And it is characterized by glomerular basement membrane, as can be seen here. This is a glomerular basement membrane. It is characterized by glomerular basement membrane thickening and proliferative changes on light microscopy. So, membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis can be induced by deposition of immunoglobulin or circulating immune complexes in, as can be seen here, intramesangial cells, subendothelium, in subendothelium, and in subepithelium. In case of SLE or systemic lupus erythematosus, location or arriving the immune complexes to the glomeruli, it takes place through the circulation, but however some immune complexes may be produced in situ, and these immune complexes below the endothelium or subendothelium, they will lead to activation of the complement with inflammation, with proliferation of the basement membrane of the glomeruli. Maybe this may lead to destruction of some podocytes with degree of proteinuria. And also, membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis may result from products of alternative pathway of complement or deposition of these products along the endothelial cells. So here the complement or alternative pathway complement products deposit in or along the endothelial cells or along the mesangial cells. Membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis classified into 3 types, and this based on location of deposits on electron microscopes. This actually based on location of deposits on electron microscope. So the 3 types are MBGN type 1, MBGN type 2, and MBGN type 3. In MBGN type 1, the deposits are present here in subendothelial. In type 2, the deposits are intramembranous. As can be seen here, it looks like a band. Whereas in type 3, the deposits are in intramembranous and subepithelial. So it is subendothelial and subepithelial. However, membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis without immunoglobulin or complement deposition could be seen in some disorders. For example, antiphospholipid syndrome, nephropathy associated with bone marrow transplantation, radiation nephropathy, and also it could be seen in drug-associated thrombotic microangiopathies. Diagnosis: renal biopsy. So it is diagnosed through the renal biopsy to make a definitive diagnosis. Treatment: actually no cure for this disorder or disease. But however, patients with rapidly progressive crescent membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis could be treated by corticosteroids and cyclophosphamide. However, recently there are some hopes through eculizumab. Eculizumab is a monoclonal antibody and it prevents cleavage of C5 into C5a and C5b, and as can be seen here, this is the alternative pathway of the complement, and the C5b, it will bind to C3b, and then C6 will bind to C5b, and this will complete the cascade. But however, eculizumab prevent this cleavage and may be effective in some patients with membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis. Actually, this treatment or this medication, I mean eculizumab, it is in use for treatment of other disorders. For example, paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria or generalized myasthenia gravis, and in neuromyelitis optica. Thank you very much, Professor Ahmed Boulad.